So it was the 1980s. He traveled through time. He wore self-tying shoes. Was a friend of a mad scientist. Played the guitar, and he got beat up a lot. However, he saved a life. This is the Back to the Future series. All three of these movies that were made have been #1 in the box office. To understand how the Back to the Future movie series is iconic, I'll let you know about each of the story's plots and then all the awards that they received. So, the Back to the Future series was a series of movies that was sci-fi. However, they jumped into different genres such as time travel, adventure, and western. Robert Zemeckis was the director for each film, along with Steven Spielberg as the executive producer. Back to the Future was first aired in 1985. On its opening weekend alone, it made a little over $11 million, and in total, $389.1 million, with a budget of only $19 million. Both of the other films had a budget of $40 million, and the second one made $331,950,002, as the third, just a year later, made $244,527,583. The main couple actors that were included in the movies was Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly, Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown, Leah Thompson as Lorraine, or the mother of Marty, Crispin Glover as George McFly, or the father of Marty, and Thomas F. Wilson as Biff Tannen. In the first movie, a small-town California teen, Marty McFly, is thrown back into the 50s when an experiment by Doc Brown goes AWOL. Traveling through time in a modified DeLorean car, Marty encounters young versions of his parents, and he needs to make sure that they fall in love again so he will cease to exist. Or will not cease to exist. Even more daunting, Marty has to return to his own time and save Doc Brown. The second movie starts a little after the first one ends, and it jumps right into it. So, in this one, Marty and Doc Brown have to go to the future and try to save Marty's kid from getting thrown in jail. After this, Marty decides to pick up a book of a sports magazine from an antique shop, which shows everything in every sports event and everyone who won in the certain time period. Well, he does this so he can bet on those certain games and then win, so he can be more wealthy, I guess you could say. So then Doc Brown finds out about this and throws it away. Well then, since they're in the future, old Biff finds the book and then steals the time traveling car and goes back into a time period when he was young. He then gives young Biff the book and tells him to bet on all of these because they're a for sure win. After this takes place a couple scenes later, the whole storyline changes. When they try to go back to the regular time period, it's an alternate time period. So everything that Biff has won led him to be the most powerful person in the city or in this town, and he just completely destroyed it. There's crime running everywhere, and it's just really bad. So this is where the second movie ends. Where the third movie starts is at the end of it. So they're stranded in 1955, which is the alternate 1955, and so Marty McFly receives a written word from his friend Doc Brown, and he thought he was dead at this time. As to where he can be found, the DeLorean time machine. Marty travels to the Old West with Doc Brown, and him and his friend Doc Brown try to boost the car so they can get back into the normal time period with a normal range. So now they go off and they have to fight some people, and then Doc Brown falls in love with a local school teacher, and then the technology is very limited, so they have to use like a train, and almost kills them all. And then they got their last chance to get back into the future, and they did. So now I'm gonna tell you all the awards that they won. So they won 20 out of 25 nominations. I'm not going to go that far into it. So the first one is the Academy Awards in 1986. They won that one with an Oscar for Best Effects and Sound Effects Editing, and that was given to Charles L. Campbell and Robert R. Rootleg. And then another one would be that they got nominated for was Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture, which for the musical and comedy section, and it was Michael J. Fox. Yet another one that they won was Best Actor for a Science Fiction Film, and that was also Michael J. Fox. In conclusion, the speech we talked about so far, we talked about the movie, box office ratings, the budgets for each of them, most of the actors, the plot to each movie, and afterwards we talked about what awards they were nominated for and what they won. So I hope you haven't seen, or I hope you've seen these movies, and if you haven't, I'm sorry I didn't say spoiler alert at the very beginning.